Let's get this out of the way. Starship Pain looks incredible. The athleticism required to pull it off is unreal, and visually, it's one of the flashiest moves ever. The problem? Damage. More often than not, Morrison barely grazed his opponent. Even when it landed clean, it didn't feel like a match-ending blow. Starship Pain focused far more on presentation than punishment. Beautiful to watch, but not believable as a finisher. Wrestling in the late 80s was a different era, but even by those standards, this finisher was weak. The Warrior Splash lacked force, impact, and realism. The opponent was already flat on the mat, leaving no room to sell the move. Warrior often landed with his hands or knees first, killing whatever momentum it had. From the ropes, it might have worked, but as it was, it just didn't cut it. Some fans criticized the attitude adjustment, but CENA's submission finisher was the real issue. The STF is a great hold in theory, but CENA's execution often looked soft. Instead of choking or cranking properly, it appeared like he was pushing the opponent's face sideways. There were moments when he locked it in well, but most of the time, it didn't look painful enough to justify a tap out. This finisher was controversial for more reasons than one. Not only did it carry serious long-term health risks, but logically, it never made sense. Why would anyone choose to smash their own head into someone else? The move looked impressive, sure, but the damage always felt limited, and it seemed just as dangerous for the person delivering it. MVP had swagger, charisma, and presence, but his finisher didn't match. The playmaker often looked awkward and ineffective. In some cases, it even seemed like MVP hurt himself more than his opponent. Randy Orton briefly used the move early in his career, but wisely dropped it. MVP stuck with it, and unfortunately, it never looked convincing. This one hurt because the concept wasn't bad. The problem was execution. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane struggled to hit the move cleanly, frequently missing kicks or failing to sync properly. When a finisher constantly looks sloppy, it stops feeling special. Eventually, it became more distracting than devastating. Two-handed chokeslam can be devastating, if you're massive. The mount simply wasn't big enough to make it look impactful. Opponents were often running into the move, which made it look clumsy rather than powerful. It's surprising anyone stayed down after it. Yes, this was real. Fantasio ended matches by pulling his opponent's underwear down and rolling them up. Credit for creativity, I guess, but that's about it. The move relied entirely on embarrassment, not damage. Sadly, Fantasio vanished before we ever saw this absurd finisher tested against a top star. Alicia Fox had longevity in WWE, which makes this finisher even more puzzling. Officer Nasty was an athletic somersault leg drop, but it lacked power and impact. Since the opponent was already grounded, it was nearly impossible to sell. Thankfully, Fox later downgraded it to a signature move. And seriously, that name didn't help either. Battle Cat didn't last long in WWE, and this finisher explains why he would run around his opponent, leap onto them, and pin them. That's it. No force, no impact, no realism. It was supposed to resemble a cat pouncing, but it never looked effective. The move was doomed from day one. This wasn't really a finisher, it was a flashy roll-up. The idea seemed to be momentum causing a knockout, but visually, it didn't come across that way. Unlike similar moves done by legends who lifted and slammed their opponents, this version just pushed them down. Not match-ending in any believable way. This tag finisher involved one bushwhacker grabbing the other and ramming them into an opponent. As a regular move, fine. As a finisher? Not even close. It lacked intensity, power, and excitement. It wasn't memorable, and that's the worst thing a finisher can be. Some wrestlers use fists. Some use feet. Naomi used something else. The rear view was unique, but uniqueness doesn't equal effectiveness. As a signature move, it worked. As a finisher, it looked silly. Smacking someone with your backside and pinning them immediately just didn't feel credible. This was disturbing in every sense. Booger would sit on his opponent in an extremely uncomfortable-looking position. Unlike Yokozuna or Rikishi, who targeted the torso, this move hovered dangerously close to the face. It didn't look painful, just gross. A terrible finisher for an already awful gimmick. Kazarni barely appeared in WWE, and thankfully so. His finisher was a modified DDT that involved rolling through and trapping the arms. It lacked snap, excitement, and impact. It just looked strange. The good news? No one ever copied it. Everrise never reached the main roster, and this finisher didn't help. The move involved lifting an opponent and letting them collide with either the ropes or turnbuckle. That was enough to end matches, apparently. It barely qualified as offense, let alone a finisher. Shocking that it was ever approved. This one is something. Vito shoved his opponent's head under his dress, locked an arm, and shook violently. Opponents tapped out almost immediately, for it was uncomfortable, awkward, and borderline parody. So bad it almost became legendary. Almost. The Goon's finisher was a hockey-style check, performed outside the ring. Not only did it look weak, but it resulted in count-out victories. Winning matches that way makes zero sense, especially in title scenarios. Anticlimactic and pointless. Before commentary, Byron Saxton wrestled, and this finisher explains why that didn't last. Saxtonation teased a skull-crushing finale before abruptly stopping. No matter how much camera shaking WWE added, it never looked impactful. Even other wrestlers openly mocked it, and they weren't wrong. And the worst finisher in WWE history goes to the pendulum splash. T was safe. That's the only positive. Crow would swing and land lightly on his opponent, and somehow win. No force. No realism. No reaction. It looked like a transition move, not a match ender. A perfect example of a finisher that completely killed momentum. What do you mean? Something big is coming, and WWE fans can feel it. The signs are all there, the timing is strange, and the silence is way too loud. So let's speculate, who's really pulling the strings right now? Is a shocking betrayal about to happen when nobody expects it? Is a forgotten rivalry about to explode again? Or is a return already locked and that's going to break the internet? Drop your wildest theories in the comments. Now make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell.